Hello, and welcome to the latest installment of My Dad Listens to This. I'm Juliet the daughter.
And as ever, I'm Kevin the dad, and welcome to a very special My Dad Listens to This Christmas.
Yep, that's it, folks. We're doing a Christmas special. So the way we decided to do this is, I thought, well, there are 12 days of Christmas, so let's do 6 songs each. So Dad picked 6, and I picked 6, and we're going to talk about them. So first things first, we're going to go through Dad's list.
And I was going to say before we do that, for those of you who have the video portion, you can see Juliet wearing her festive Christmas hat. And for those of you who don't have the video portion, which is all of you, use your imagination. I myself am not wearing anything Christmassy.
No, mine has tinsel on it though, so I'm very happy with it. I've had this hat since I was a kid, and I'm rather fond of it. And also, we hope you like our new logo for our Christmas special. Dad designed it himself, so thank you, Dad.
You're welcome.
That's the audience applauding you at home.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Yeah. All right, Dad, so we're going to do your songs in chronological order. I'm going to do my songs in whatever order. So, where are we starting?
Okay. So Christmas music. And I find that, like, as time goes on, it's tough to make memorable songs for this genre, especially nowadays. Most albums that come out smack of contractual obligation. You know, pick 10 or 12 songs that have been done to death and redo them. And maybe throw in an original and hope it sticks. Sometimes it does, like Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You, which will outlive us all.
Yep.
That's from 1994. And my most sort of recent favorite is Sia's Candy Cane Lane from 2017.
Sia's in big trouble right now.
Yeah, I know. But it doesn't affect me. Okay. So when Juliet came up with this idea, I thought, 6 songs. Piece of cake. Nope.
It was hard.
I was surprised at how many Christmas songs are out there that I actually like.
Right? You?
Yeah, me. Bah humbug. Harumph. And...
But you don't keep it.
Well, then let me leave it alone then.
Well, you didn't leave it alone this time. I made you.
Yeah, I know, thanks. And I'm surprised at what did not make this list. The most glaring example would be I didn't pick anything from Phil Spector's Christmas album.
Yeah, I was wondering that. I was like, wait a minute, you didn't pick anything from that Murderers album?
It's a killer Christmas, everybody. Which I know is sacrilege. Like I said, I surprised myself. But the thing was, I just could not decide on one song from that album. I think they all deserve to be on here, but that would turn this episode into a review of a whole Christmas album.
We could probably do that at some point.
Yeah, I was going to say, maybe that's something to do next year, or maybe we'll do something lame like Christmas in July. Who knows?
I don't think we will. Don't worry, I won't make you do that.
Okay. But the songs that I did pick, the artists just did one song. They didn't do like a whole Christmas record. And it was either done as a single or as a track on an otherwise non-holiday themed album. Or there were 2 exceptions, 2 songs that were done for like Christmas album compilations. So let's just dive in. And the first song chronologically I picked is White Christmas by not Bing Crosby, The Drifters from 1954.
Which, if you're sitting there thinking, have I heard that one before? It's the one that Kevin lip syncs to in the first Home Alone movie, so you've probably heard it before.
Which we'll get to that.
Yes.
Okay, now the Drifters' 1954 cover of the song showcased the talents of lead singer Clyde McPhatter and the bass of Bill Pinkney. Their recording of it peaked at number 2 on Billboard's R&B chart in December 1954 and returned to the same chart in the next 2 years. In December 1955, it became the Drifters' first of 34 singles to register in the mainstream Hot 100 chart. For decades, the Drifters version was primarily heard on R&B radio stations, getting little exposure elsewhere. It received a boost in the early 90s, as you said, when it was prominently featured in the film Home Alone during a scene in which Kevin, the lead character, is applying his father's aftershave while mouthing the lyrics. Radio station formats as diverse as oldies, adult contemporary, top 40, and country began playing the Drifters version. Now, as for me, I'm sure I heard it watching Home Alone. I just can't remember it. The first time I really remembered hearing this song was hearing it as a bumper on the now defunct Providence sports station 790 The Score. One of the sports talkers loved that song. So they would play either coming into a segment or closing out a segment. And I loved it too as soon as I heard it. Now, being only used to Bing's version, Bing Crosby, that is, not the Microsoft search engine. This was a revelation. White Christmas is doo-wop with the bass as the lead?
Yeah.
Hey, why not? It's my favorite version of the song. And for those of you out there who haven't seen it yet, please check out Joshua Held's cartoon version on YouTube.
Oh, it's great.
It is great. Your mom has been playing it endlessly, and I've been trying to avoid it because I love this song.
And you don't want to get sick of
and I
it.
do not want to get sick of this song. Like, I am sick of eggnog because when I was younger, I drank way too much of it, and I just can never drink it again.
Without gagging?
My fault.
Yeah. All right, so this may be my favorite version of the song. I'm gonna, some people are gonna look at this and go, sacrilegious. Shout out to Brett and Eddie. It's a reference to Two Set Violin, a channel that I watch. They always say stuff like sacrilegious or lamentable.
Or in Homer Simpson, sacrilegious.
Yeah, anyway, some people are going to say I'm sacrilegious, but I really don't like the Bing Crosby version because it sounds too much like a hymn at a Catholic Mass, and I don't think this song is supposed to be that formal. Like, you're singing about wanting a Christmas like the ones you knew as a kid, and yet you're singing it in a way that sounds like Gregorian monks chanting. It doesn't really work. Then the Drifters come along and blow the other versions out of the water. There's a reason Macaulay Culkin lip syncs to it in the first Home Alone movie.
Because it was in the script.
Yeah. And plus, the animated version Dad had me watch with the Santa Claus and his reindeer backup singers is adorable, especially when Santa starts belting and you can see his uvula dangling from the back of his mouth. He's putting everything into it. Now, the animator, as Dad said, is Joshua Held, and the animation style is comfortably dated. Like, you can tell it was made a while ago, but it doesn't feel dated or look creepy.
Yeah, it has like timeless qualities.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, the logo for his channel, like if you look at the thumbnail for his channel on YouTube, it looks like the tall guy from the Grade A Under A logo.
Okay.
Yeah, got the big mouth and everything.
Oh, that guy.
Yes! You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yep. Now, as for the song, similar to the Little Drummer Boy, the backbone of this song, and in this case the catchiest part, is the bass/baritone backup singer. And then we have that beautiful contrast of starting with a bass solo, jumping to a tenor solo, and it really works because they don't disrupt the flow and you can keep grooving to it. And then they sweetly end it with just one voice singing the final lyric with a small little snippet of Jingle Bells. I firmly believe this will ever be the best version of White Christmas. I mean, heck, Michael Bublé did a homage to this version on his Christmas album, and not a homage to Bing, so that should tell you all you need to know.
Well, I gotta say, I'd put Bing's version at number 2 because that was the only one I was ever familiar with until we got, let's see, Darlene Love doing it on Phil Spector's album, and, you know, there's umpteen cover versions out there, but I'll put Bing's at number 2, Darlene's at number 3. I don't have a problem with Bing's at all.
Okay. All right.
I never thought of it as like a Gregorian chant version. I can kind of see that.
It's just too formal for the lyrics. I'm like, doesn't really work.
Okay, now the second song I picked from 1958 is The Little Drummer Boy by the Harry Simone Choir.
Chorale.
Or Simeone Choir. Chorale.
Yeah.
I found choir, but
It says chorale on Spotify, but they'll probably answer to both.
I always imagine like, you know, just a bunch of singers penned up.
Yeehaw!
Yep. They've been chorale. Now, what's the difference between a choir and a chorale? Would you know?
I don't know.
Oh,
I've only been called a choir.
Okay.
Chorale, yeah.
Now, this was originally known as Carol of the Drum, written by Catherine Kennicott Davis in 1941. It was first recorded 10 years later in 1951 by the Trapp Family Singers. Yeah, the
cool.
Sound of Music family.
Yeah. And that movie's been called a Christmas movie, too. Well, because you hear My Favorite Things played on the radio, like around Christmas time.
Now, how is My Favorite Things considered a Christmas song? Like, I've heard it, and I'm just not making the connection.
Because I think some people are like, oh, you can look at it as if, like, listing off things you want for Christmas. That's not the point of the song, though, but I could see why people would make that connection.
Oh, so it's an ode to greed.
That's not what it's supposed to be. In the context of the musical, she's using it to cheer up a bunch of scared kids, but I guess if you haven't watched the musical, it would sound like a Christmas list.
Okay, just a slight aside here. The version of My Favorite Things that I keep hearing is by the Supremes. They play it at work because you can always tell who's running the store. If it's Matt, he's got the Christmas music going. If it's Maria, thankfully, she does not. She's got the station that plays, yes, it's the lame Whole Foods music style music that kicks in like a Christmas song once every 3 or 4 songs. but it's just not
A
an
breather?
endless stream. Yeah, you get a breather.
See, when I was working at Whole Foods, I didn't mind the Christmas music. Like, all my friends who work in retail and in grocery stores are so sick of Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You because that's all they play over and over. And then there'd be me just trying to survive through the holiday season at Whole Foods, and I'd be singing to myself, I don't wanna, and then I'll be looking at me like I'm crazy. I'm like, I like Christmas music. What can I say? But the only versions of, and this is a long aside, but to wrap it up, the only versions of my favorite things I've heard are the original movie and the John Coltrane version that he plays on saxophone. It's 13 to 15 minutes because, a lot of solos in between, but it's really fun. It's a nice instrumental.
And I gotta say, as another aside, it's always struck me that, like, guys like him and Miles Davis, they just went nuts over, like, Broadway tunes or traditional songs. I mean, they definitely put their own spin on it, but there was just something about those songs that grabbed them.
Anyway.
In 1957, Jack Halloran altered the arrangement for his Jack Halloran Singers on Dot Records. His arrangement is the one commonly sung today, but his version was not released. And in response, producer Henry Onorati left Dot Records for 20th Century Fox Records in 1958 and introduced the song to arranger / conductor / composer Harry, it's either Simone or Simeone. I don't know.
I think it might be Simeone.
Okay, so Harry ended up using most of the Halloran Singers and added the finger cymbals and retitled it The Little Drummer Boy. It was a huge success, hitting the top 40 every year from 1958 to 1962. The song's been covered a bazillion times, everyone from Joan Jett to Grace Jones taking a shot at it.
How's hers?
Grace sings an excerpt of it on an episode of Pee-wee's Playhouse. So I'm sure if you go on YouTube, you can probably find it there. And I've heard Bob Seger do a bad version of it. And there's one I haven't heard yet that intrigues me. It's Beck. It's the Little Drum Machine Boy. Which sounds different.
The thought of Grace Jones and Pee Wee Herman existing in the same universe broke my brain a little bit. Like the fact that Peter O'Toole and Twilight existed in the same universe at one point.
But he was in the Twilight movie?
No. What happened was they were doing an interview where they were talking about, his movies like Lawrence of Arabia, Beckett, My Favorite Year, Lion in Winter. And then the interviewer made a joke about Twilight, and Peter O'Toole looks at it and he goes, what's that? And everyone in the audience is like, don't tell him what it is! Don't tell him what it is! Keep it in the dark! And I heard that and I'm like, oh my god! Anyway. But yeah, there's some things in the universe that exist at the same time that you're like, no, those can't be the same world. So I gotta listen to Grace's after this because it could either be very good or very bad.
Come, they told me, pam, or I will kill you.
Yes, Grace.
Okay, but for me, this is the definitive version. Nothing comes close to touching it. I find the voices haunting, but not in a horror kind of way. It's like they just really get to me somehow. Make me a little emotional.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid to admit it.
Well, you're a drummer, so,
And they just stay with you. And I love how the voices get louder near the end, imitating the drum, and then it just becomes quiet at the finish. And once the song ends, the only thing that should follow it is silence. Just complete silence, because it's tough to have something play immediately after that because it just sets this mood. And I find that I just want to bask in it or enjoy it, but contemplate it. Sit in it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, there's just something about this song that just gets to me, and you get me watching that Christmas special, and I just lose it at the end.
Yeah. All right, so this song used to make me cry, so I'd avoid listening to it on purpose because I wasn't comfortable sitting in my emotions.
Oh, that did it to me. When I was a kid, I actually got up, left the room, went to the bathroom, and bawled my eyes out so no one could see me.
Well, now Uncle Joey's going to hear this, and he's going to know about it, so you outed yourself on the internet, Dad. Congratulations.
Yeah, but there's no food involved, so he probably won't care that much.
Yeah.
Hey, Swoops.
Hi, Uncle Swoops. All right, anyway. But now
Does he listen to this stuff?
Sometimes, every now and then. All right, but now I'm more comfortable listening to this song. So again, the backbone of this song is easily the bass and baritone singers who imitate the drum the little drummer boy is playing, the boom, boom.
Yeah.
So you wonder at first why there isn't a real drum being played, but it becomes obvious very quickly that you don't really need one with this arrangement. Just as long as you have those finger cymbals, you're fine. I like how the little drummer boy's first thought when seeing the baby is, I am a poor boy too, instead of freaking out that he's in the presence of the savior and, like, crapping his pants. So if you knew that this was like, hey, this baby's God, wouldn't you be like, I wouldn't know what to do. So he plays for the baby, and I love how just before they sing about the baby Jesus smiling, the singers stop, and you can see the little drummer boy drinking that moment in, or maybe wondering, oh God, did he like it? But I have to wonder, what did he play on the drum? Like a march or a king's processional? And how long did he go on for? What sound quality was the drum? I know that the singers are supposed to be the ones giving us the general idea, but still. And there's a great Animaniacs parody of the little drummer boy, where they start, they start and end with the traditional way, but then at the middle, they go whole hog and do like a rock concert and jam out, and Mary's just into it. It's great.
Oh, I gotta see that.
Oh, yeah, I'll show it after this. So, then again, the Christmas special does give you a good idea of, what he played on his drum with how they animate it. So watch it if you want some more concrete answers. Sweet song, but I'm still not in a rush to download it because, to quote Anchorman, I don't want to be in a glass case of emotion.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay. Our next song is also from 1958, Run, Rudolph, Run by Chuck Berry. Ugh. Now, songwriting credits are murky on this one.
Oh.
Because originally Chuck Berry got credit for this one, then in subsequent releases, Johnny Marks, who wrote Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and Marvin Brody got credit. I think Marks got credit because Rudolph was copyrighted.
Oh, okay.
And I Googled Marvin Brody, but I got nowhere. So I don't know what his contribution was. And for me, it kind of makes sense that Johnny Marks gets the credit because in 1963, when Brian Wilson wrote Surfin' USA for the Beach Boys, Chuck Berry's the one who gets the writer's credit because basically Surfin' USA is Chuck's song Sweet Little 16 with different words.
Is that your No, am I thinking of the other one? Is that the one that's your 16, you're beautiful in your mind, or am I thinking of the wrong one?
No.
Well, sorry, there's a lot of songs with 16 in the title.
Yeah. You're 16, you're beautiful in your mind. The original version just sounds very pedophilic.
Well, the Sherman Brothers wrote that one, funnily enough.
Well, I'm certain that they were hoping some youngster would sing it.
Well, Ringo covered it, and then it became immortal, so...
Well, it was kind of big back then. But anyway.
Yeah,
Anyway, Chuck wrote the words and graphed them onto his musically identical Little Queenie, which was recorded during the same session. And who else would have the audacity to take a beloved Christmas song staple and retool it for his own rock and roll needs? No one. No one. Because, even just the lyrics. Santa said to a boy child, what have you been longing for? All I want for Christmas is a rock and roll electric guitar. And then away went Rudolph, whizzing like a shooting star. Said Santa to a girl child, what would please you most to get? A little baby doll that can cry, sleep, drink, and wet. And then away went Rudolph, whizzing like a saber jet. That is Chuck Berry all the way. No one can convince me otherwise. There's no way in hell Johnny Marks wrote those verses.
No, I don't think so.
And the other thing is, no one can do a bad cover of this song either.
Really?
Dave Edmunds does a great cover,
Cool.
which I wish I could find. I'm sure it's on Spotify. I hear it at Whole Foods when they have the constant Christmas music station on. So that's kind of like a little respite from the nonsense. Hell, even Bryan Adams, of all people, turned in a solid performance on A Very Special Christmas. And we'll get to that album just a little later.
Okay.
There's even a version by Dave Grohl, Billy Gibbons from ZZ Top, and Lemmy from Motorhead.
That sounds great.
Which I actually found on a website, like the best heavy metal Christmas songs. You can find it, like on that website, just do a search. And there was one, and it's also on the compilation called We Wish You a Metal Christmas. And
Sweet.
And a head-banging New Year.
Yeah. All right.
Those are reindeer horns you just made, right?
Sure. So for some reason... That made me think of a story, but I'll tell that to you later after the podcast. I'll tell it now. So someone has a theory on the internet that it's like there's some maybe kids who are dyslexic or who can't really spell, who instead of writing Dear Santa will accidentally write Dear Satan on their Christmas letters. So somebody made a post where it's like, Satan arrives at the North Pole and he's like, all right, you got those letters addressed to me. What do those kids want? And Santa's like, you don't have to do this. He's like, no, these kids wrote to me. I'm giving them their Christmas present. Shut up, Santa. Anyway, all right, so... For some reason, this isn't one of my favorite Christmas songs. I remember not being impressed by
where
listening.
did I go wrong?
Well, here's the thing. I remember not being impressed by listening to it as a kid. And then years later, when I made a Spotify Christmas playlist, I was like, all right, I'm a little older. Maybe I'll like it a little bit more now. But I always ended up skipping it, so I deleted it. And I can't put my finger on why I don't like it. I mean, it's Chuck Berry, who's the true rock and roll king. Fight me on that. I will die on that hill. The music
I will die right next to you.
Yep. It reminds you of that cartoon. Elvis to black rock and roll singers. Hey, can I sing your music? Yeah, sure, but don't claim that you invented it or anything. The king, thanks you very much. The king of what? The king of what, Elvis? Anyway, so the music is bouncy, and the lyrics tell a charming Christmas story about wanting Rudolph to hurry as he flies so Santa can deliver the presents and the children all over the world can get their gifts as soon as possible. But something about this song just doesn't grab me. I don't find myself wanting to dance or sing along or even head bop. This does make me wonder, though, what a Christmas special based around Run, Rudolph, Run would look like. And then I thought, oh, maybe they could have the ghost of Chuck Berry narrate it, a la the ghost of Duke Ellington from Big Mouth.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, and
what could possibly go wrong?
Oh, everything and nothing.
Yes.
Oh, and also, who the hell's Randolph? I guess there are some things in music we'll never know. They just need to find a rhyme for Rudolph, but I was like, oh, interesting concept, Randolph.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned Randolph because the article I was reading said that if Chuck had said "Run, Randolph, run," then they could have gotten around having to give Johnny Marks credit.
But no one would have known who the hell that was.
But people would have known. They would have put two and two together.
Yeah.
And they also said that I guess there was Christmas claymation special. Robbie the reindeer, who was obviously Rudolph, but again, to avoid getting sued or having to give other people credit, they changed it from Rudolph to Robbie.
All right, what's next?
I don't know if they had Robbie Williams. They might have had Robbie Williams do the voice. I'm not sure. Okay, our next song, we leap 19 years ahead to 1977, Father Christmas, the Kinks.
That was when they did it, in 77?
Yep.
I thought that was the 60s. Oh, okay.
No, it was a single. Now, the lineup in 1977 was Ray Davies vocals, rhythm guitar, Dave Davies, lead guitar and vocals, John Dalton, who would replace Pete Quaife on bass, and Mick Avery on inspired drums. Just a great punk Christmas song. It was 1977. Ray shows the snot-nosed kids how it's done.
Yeah.
And you can sing along with it. You can.
You can.
Now, Ray plays Father Christmas, which is very British, at a department store. A gang of kids come over, mug him, and demand money. Not the Monopoly kind, the real McCoy. And, hey, how about jobs for the parents? Give the toys to the little rich boys. At the end, Ray admonishes us to remember those who have less while we're drinking down our wine. And I love this song because it's like I said, it's punk. It's also 1977, and they could have been looked on as like one of the dinosaur bands or like one of the washed up 60s bands.
Yeah.
But I think they put everything they had into it and just came out of the gate charging. And I like the sentiment. Ray, who usually can be sentimental about England, for this one, he's just not. But, it's a nice mix of like, yeah, enjoy yourself, but, really try and think of others who are not as fortunate as you.
Yeah.
Nice balance. And you can sing along to it.
Yeah.
And I just love Mick Avery's drums.
It's the kids running away from Santa.
Or the little drummer boy going nuts.
I'll pummel you into the ground.
Yes, if you don't give me that money.
All right.
I like that.
I got that from a card where it's like the little drummer boy meets the big angry flute girl. All right, so listening to this, I thought to myself, is this how Alex and his gang, the Droogs from A Clockwork Orange, started out as kids? Because I could see them beating up a mall Santa.
Like stomping him to death?
Yeah, curb stomping him. And that's what happens in this song. A poor department store Santa gets mugged by a group of kids who want, as they say, for him to give the toys to the little rich boys. Because what the hell are they going to do with them? They probably come from a rough part of London where money and guns are more useful. Well, I don't condone what the kids did, okay? It makes me sad that they're in such a desperate situation that they're mugging Santa. There is a little bit of a sad part, too, where they asked Santa to give their parents a job, which reminded me of a news report that was on NBC Nightly like years ago when I was a kid, where they did a story on some of the sadder Santa Claus letters that come into the U.S. Post Office every year, like, Dear Santa, I want to live in a real house. Dear Santa, I want my daddy to come home from Afghanistan. Dear Santa, I want food because I'm so hungry. Dear Santa, I want my money back, my mommy back. Dear Santa, I don't want my parents to get divorced. Just really heartbreaking stuff. And like they were interviewing postal workers who were saying, yeah, some of these letters make us cry. However, the dark underbelly of the song is juxtaposed with the most jingle bell cheer music ever. God damn. And a drum solo that sounds like the kids raining down punches on Poor Father Christmas, which you can't help but chuckle at because it's like, they just sound so happy. Fun song, but when you really listen to the lyrics, it's a goddamn downer.
But it's a very well done downer. Mm-hmm. Okay, now we go to 1981, possibly my favorite Christmas song, Christmas Wrapping by the Waitresses.
I was just listening to this morning.
Now, originally this was recorded for the Z Records compilation, A Christmas Record, which you can buy on Amazon for $900.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, wait, no.
The cassette version is a little cheaper. I think they want only $200 or $300.
Still.
And this is for a reissue from 1994. Originally came out in 1981. Anyway, I have it on two sources. I have it on the my vinyl, the Waitresses EP, I Could Rule the World If I Could Only Get the Parts, which I bought out when it actually came out in the 80s. And finally, on CD with Just Desserts, the complete Waitresses, which I highly recommend. Yeah, they only put out 2.5 albums, but those were great 2.5 albums. Now, Chris Butler wrote it as he did all the Waitresses songs, but it was put across by the great Patty Donahue, who kind of sung / talked / rapped it. Butler said this was the last thing the band wanted to do, as they were in the middle of a difficult tour. And he was surprised at the enthusiastic reception the song got, and it rejuvenated the band.
Wow.
And I'm sure it rejuvenates Chris Butler's bank account every December.
Oh, sure.
So Patty's a busy single woman who's got to sit out the holiday. She tells us how she spent most of the year trying to get together with this one guy, but things keep happening to prevent that. Now it's the 24th. She's got the world's smallest turkey from A&P, but she forgot one thing. And if you've never heard this song before, and I'd be kind of surprised if you've never heard it before, I'll just leave it at that. Now, I love this song. I absolutely love it. I love how it starts off quietly with the piano and the bells, and then that guitar barges in, and we're just off. Great arrangement, especially with the horns. And it has a simple sing-along chorus that will stay in your head forever. It's 5 minutes and 18 seconds long, but it just doesn't feel like it. And the Spice Girls, minus Jerry.
Yeah, I heard that they did a cover of this.
Covered it.
How is it?
I actually have it, but I didn't know that I had it.
Oh.
Until I did research on this song, because I've got the Spice Girls single, Goodbye, where it's just the four of them, and it's probably their
last song.
Well, you know, Jerry had just left, so people think,
bless you.
Sorry.
Can't edit that out.
This is live.
Yep.
I'll try not to do it again.
It's okay. Ah, he's gonna do it again.
Sorry.
He just blew our listeners' ears out. Sorry.
I'm allergic to the holidays. Yeah, so they did the song Goodbye, which is probably their goodbye to Jerry. And when I was doing the research, they said that Christmas Wrapping is also on this single. So I pulled out my CD single, and son of a gun, there it is, second song, along with a live version of Sisters Are Doing It For Themselves, and a live version of something else that I can't remember. So anyway, I listened to it. Their version is okay. It really doesn't add anything new, and they shortened it.
Oh.
And the only thing that kind of makes it British is they substitute Tesco for A&P.
Yeah. The big grocery chain. All right, so for years, I heard the chorus of the song over and over on the radio, and I'd ask what the title was, but I could never remember it. And now I will. The song is over 5 minutes, but it never feels like it because the singers and musicians pace themselves really well so they can tell the story. And as you said, a girl is so overwhelmed by the busyness of the holiday season and a bit bummed that she can't find this guy she likes, so she decides to stay home this holiday season and have a quiet Christmas alone. And to be honest, I can get why people do that. Amidst all the shopping and cooking you do, you need some time to breathe. Now, Dad said he wasn't going to spoil what happens in this song, but I'm gonna. So, if you haven't listened to this song yet...
This is like the equivalent of opening your presents before Christmas.
Yeah, so if you haven't listened to this song, but really want to, I'm going to give you a few seconds to pause the video, listen to this song, and when you come back, we can talk about it. All right, I'll give you a couple...
1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005, and
All right, we're back. Okay, so I'm going to spoil the song now. But, as she says in an on-par reference to The Night Before Christmas, when what to my wondering eyes should appear in line as the guy I've been chasing all year.
What a genius line.
Yeah. Yup, it's a Christmas miracle! They bump into each other at the grocery store, which kind of sucks that the place is open on Christmas and the cashiers can't be at home. But she decides to celebrate with her guy, and she's happy.
Well, it's the 24th.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, night before. So there's a lot of triumphant singing and saxophone solos at the end. However, I think that if the song was just the chorus over and over, it would still work. And you could easily find yourself happily singing along to that track for, like, about 3 minutes. So I'm glad I didn't miss listening to this track this year.
Good.
See what I did there?
Yeah. And the other thing I like about this song, it is one of the few, if not only, Waitresses songs that has a happy ending for Patty. Because a lot of the songs she sings,
oh no,
she is just like so behind the 8 ball. So I'm happy for her.
Okay, all right. Last song from Dad.
My last song from 1987, The Immortal Christmas in Hollis by Run DMC. Now this song is on the 1987 compilation A Very Special Christmas, which benefited Special Olympics.
Oh, cool.
This is the only original song on that compilation. The rest are mostly bloated, sterile covers. Now, one of the high-low lights, or maybe it's the other way around, is Stevie Nicks' unintentionally hilarious version of Silent Night.
Oh, the one they used to make fun of on HJY?
Yeah, I was going to say, put it this, yes. Paul and Al played sheep buying noises in the background when they would play it on HJY. And it was perfect. There was just something about Stevie's, would you call it waver or tremolo?
Vibrato?
Yeah, like there was something, I don't know if it was like too much Snow White or whatever, where her voice just sounded like really awful. But then like some years later, she got her voice back. Like,
yeah, because she stopped hoovering all that coke.
I guess so. But anyway, thankfully this song eventually became available as the last song on Run DMC's Greatest Hits, a compilation which I highly recommend. Now, Bill Adler, who was director of publicity for Rush Productions, who managed Run DMC, wanted them to contribute a track to the very special Christmas compilation. They refused. Then Adler came up with the idea of Christmas in Hollis, and the group changed their minds. Your buddy Rick Rubin co-produced this with Run DMC.
Who's Rick Rubin?
He did that remix of...
oh, no, not
We Will
him!
Rock You. Yep.
Okay.
Okay, now for those who don't know, Hollis is the Queens neighborhood where Run DMC and Jam Master Jay grew up. Now Run gets the first half of the song. He spots a man chilling with his dog in the park, gets close and realizes it's Santa and a reindeer. They take off, but Santa's dropped his wallet with $1 million in it. Run decides to bring the wallet home and mail it back to Santa cause stealing from the big man ain't right.
Yeah.
But when he gets home, he gets a pleasant surprise. Now DMC takes the second half, rapping about the food, mom's cooking chicken and collard greens, rice and stuffing macaroni and cheese. And I don't like mac and cheese, but just hearing that line always makes me hungry.
You'd probably want his mom's version of it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Why? What did she do?
I don't know, but it sounds good.
Oh, she's in the video, by the way.
Really? Oh, that's sweet. His real mom?
Yeah, his real mom.
Oh,
It's
cool.
like bringing out the food and all that.
Aw,
so yeah,
cute.
he raps about the food, decorating the house, busting Christmas carols, the whole experience.
Nice.
And I just love this song. And for me, all in all, this is the only Christmas hip-hop song that should exist.
All right. So, again, I remember hearing this song in the car, but I could never remember who was the rap group that did this song, and now I won't forget. So the story of this one, as you said, is a guy spots Santa, finds Santa's wallet, and is about to give it back when Santa says, "Merry Christmas! Keep all the money!" So now, Run DMC, they're going to have a very Merry Christmas indeed. And a nice little touch is the short medley of Christmas carols they play, that little instrumental, which I guess you could technically call the bridge if you wanted to. However, this has me wonder, Santa has $1 million in his wallet. how the hell does Santa maintain an income? And considering Santa has all these elves, how much per hour does he pay them? Do they have health insurance, PTO, parental leave, bereavement leave? Santa's behavior as a CEO fascinates me, but nobody tell Jeff Bezos that he has some competition, otherwise he'll find a way to buy the North Pole.
Maybe the government subsidizes him?
Maybe there's a spot in international law for him. Maybe he borrows money from the National Bank,
Or
the
maybe
World
it's
Bank.
like a charity where like he accepts donations.
Oh,
monetary donations.
Santa's an international NGO?
I'm just guessing.
All right, I'm gonna say it. Santa's toy thing is Santa Claus runs an international non-governmental organization. Okay, I can accept that. Yeah. All right.
Okay. Now
Okay.
that was my
But anyway.
that was my 6 songs.
Fun song to jam to for Christmas.
Okay. And now we're gonna do Juliet's.
All right, so first song, which I know Dad is gonna make fun of, is "Merry Christmas, Darling" by the Carpenters. So, "Merry Christmas, Darling" was originally released as a single on 7-inch vinyl in the 1970s by the brother and sister musical duo Karen and Richard Carpenter. It went to #1 on the Billboard Christmas charts that's in 1970 and again in 1971 and 1973. In 1978, the Carpenters released their Christmas Portrait album, which Mom has, which had new vocals recorded in the latter half of the song, which Karen requested herself, but Richard says the original single is still his sister's best. The song was originally written by Frank Pooler when he was 18 years old about a relationship he had in college. Years later, when he was choir director at CSU Long Beach, his former students Karen and Richard asked him if he had a Christmas song because they were tired of the same old standards, and since their success was starting to climb, they wanted something different. According to legend, Richard rewrote the melody in 15 minutes, and the Carpenters' version was born. Karen is on vocals, Richard is on backing vocals, piano, and Celesta. Hal Blaine is on the drums, John Osborne is on the bass, and Bob Messenger is on the tenor sax. There have been 2 covers of this song, one by Broadway veteran and the singing voice for Anastasia in the animated movie, Liz Calloway, Canada's Lennon Stella, and fun fact, Elvis almost did a cover, but because he couldn't read sheet music, he gave up. Yes. Now, the first time I heard this song, I was in a long-distance relationship, and I bawled my eyes out, because at the time, I was either in my senior year of high school or my freshman year of college, and my then-boyfriend was at URI. And more than anything, I wanted him to come home so we could celebrate Christmas together, but because he had finals week, I wasn't going to see him forever. I think at that time he got out, on December 22nd, not until 3 days before Christmas. And while the relationship didn't last, I still haven't forgotten what being in a long-distance relationship was like, which, for Rhode Island... Yeah, East Providence to Kingston and Wakefield is pretty long distance. It's 45 minutes, but hey, anything in Rhode Island over than half an hour, most of us are like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, and you gotta pack an overnight bag.
Yeah. But I think anyone who has had a long-distance relationship can relate to the song, and it's very bittersweet. Because even though you may have plans to be together at some point, you're not going to be together at Christmas, which is when people travel to be with their loved ones. Even if you are with family, it doesn't feel the same when the person you love the most is not there. Karen's singing has that longing to it, and the orchestrations give the song the perfect combination of romantic feelings and sadness. And what also makes this song are the vocal harmonies in the background, and at the end, when they come together to create that beautifully dissonant chord, Merry Christmas, darling. Sometimes I'll just play the last few seconds of the song over and over again, because I can't get over how beautiful they are. It's probably my favorite Christmas song as of now, and even if something else replaces it, it'll still have a soft spot in my heart.
Ah. This is like a greeting card come to life.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, a gooey greeting card come to life, but a greeting card nonetheless. Christmasing with verbing nouns and desire-filling logs. It's not a bad song if I don't listen too closely to the lyrics because they can induce eye rolling in me. And I gotta admit, Karen's voice is pleasant and it has a sweet yearning to it. Again, those desire-filling fire logs. And I like that, it's an original. And I guess I have to give Richard credit for, like you said, coming up with the, new melody and what have you. If only he would stop tinkering with their songs.
What do you mean? What's he doing?
Like, if you go on Amazon and you look up, I think I bought your mom, their greatest hits or something, and there was so many negative reviews saying, Richard, stop screwing around with the songs. He's gone in the studio and tweak them until some of them were just unrecognizable from the way that they were originally released.
That sucks.
And his thing is well, Karen would have wanted it this way, or this is what we really meant to do.
Would she? Really? Otherwise she would have done it before.
Yeah, exactly. We have no idea. But I got to admit, I like this song.
I win!
And it's the only Carpenters song I ever happen to listen to, and it's just once a year.
Okay.
And it's not Close to You or Top of the World or Sing a Song.
I like Sing a Song. It's because it's Sesame Street, but I still like it.
Not the Earth, Wind, and Fire version.
Uh-huh.
Or Rainy Days and Mondays. Any goop like that. Because,
Okay.
oh my God, they were very 70s. That soft rock or mush or whatever you want to call it. Just, I can't believe I survived 70s soft rock or yacht rock or whatever the hell you want to call it. Thank God punk came along. Oh my God.
Otherwise, you probably wouldn't be here right now. You'd have been too depressed.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, next song. Peace on Earth / The Little Drummer Boy, David Bowie and Bing Crosby.
Have at it.
Ah, yes, the musical duo that made everyone go, huh? So, how'd it come to be? Well, I'm going to tell you. In 1977, Bing Crosby did a Merry Old Christmas special for television. He started recording it in September, which was around the time of his tour in Great Britain. Since the special was going to be set in England, the producers wanted some proper British stars, so they asked around. Would Twiggy come on board? Absolutely. How about Ron Moody? Sure. But David Bowie? As Bowie himself admitted, the only reason he was considering this in the first place was because his mother was a big Bing Crosby fan.
I've heard that, yeah.
Yeah. However, he hated the song Little Drummer Boy and asked, do you have anything else? The program songwriters Buzz Cohen, Larry Grossman, and Ian Fraser decided that the best thing to do would be to write a counter-melodic bridge for Bowie to sing, so they sat down at the piano and banged out Peace on Earth in about an hour. The duet between Bowie and Crosby was released as a single in the UK, and as far as I know is now a Christmas staple. You can also find an homage online from Funny or Die with John C. Reilly as Bing and Will Ferrell as Bowie. And they recreate it exactly with one teeny tiny difference at the end.
Oh, I want to see that.
I'll show it to you after this. This and Animaniacs and Grace Jones with Pee Wee Herman. Now, I must say, I have a bone to pick with Spotify here. I firmly believe that what cements this song as a cheesy, heartwarming Christmas classic is the dialogue at the beginning, because it's just the right amount of forced. It's great. So, here's how it starts. The doorbell rings, and Bing answers. Bowie steps inside and asks if Bing is the new butler to the house. Bing says no, and the two men introduce each other. Oh, and also apparently in this universe, Bowie lives right down the road. He says that. I'm David Bowie. I live right down the road. I'm like, yeah, okay,
well,
sure.
It makes it easier.
Yeah, because plot device. Now, Bowie asks if he can play the piano because Sir Percival, the owner of the place and Bing's distant relation, apparently, lets him play from time to time, and Bing says sure.
Sir Percival Crosby.
Yeah. They talk about contemporary music and older music, which according to Bowie, older music is John Lennon and Harry Nilsson.
Oh, you go that far back, do you?
Yeah.
Which is hilarious.
Yeah, and then they talk about the Christmas traditions their families celebrate with some fun little jabs and self-deprecating jokes thrown in, like when Bowie says, I even have a guy at White Christmas. Now, Spotify completely cuts all that dialogue, and I am very bitter because I think it should be included. Not only does it actually set up for the song well to give them a reason to sing, but it's just fun and corny in a good way. Now, as for the song itself, the melody and harmony between Bing and Bowie is very pleasant. Their voices also complement each other wonderfully, with Bowie singing in a higher range that fits his light voice, which is best suited for pop, and Bing sitting comfortably in a lower range that fits his rich timbre, which is best suited for American standards. Then when they sing together during the bridge, they both hold their own. As for the new lyrics that Bowie sings, they start with the question, Peace on Earth, can it be? And Bowie answers, years from now, perhaps we'll see. Both Bing and Bowie say...
Still waiting on that one.
Yeah. Both Bowie and Bing say it can be possible if the next generation learns how to take care of one another, and maybe their hopes for their children will come to fruition. It could have been hokey, but it's not. And as Bing says, pretty thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I have the dialogue at the beginning because
Yes,
I bought this Bowie best of 2-disc set on Ryko disc, they tossed in a third CD, which was The Little Drummer Boy, Peace on Earth, contains the entire thing.
Yep.
But I mean, these days, you kids can also go on YouTube.
The original
and they've
video's
got
still up there.
Yeah,
They're not going to
still
take it down.
No. Now, Bowie and Bing, one of those combinations Mother Nature never intended, but damn, it works. It
does.
really does.
Uh-huh.
I mean, you know, either of those musicians could have had generational contempt for the other.
They could have.
But they don't. They think their voices blend well, and I think it may be the most radical thing Bowie's ever done. It easily is for Bing.
Yes,
And
yes.
I'm so old. I remember seeing this on TV back in 1977.
And did you go, huh?
Yeah, but I was like, oh, David Bowie. Yeah, I've heard of this guy. What's he doing on this show with Bing?
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, it works. It still brings a smile on my face. And I think they're both very sincere about it when they sing.
They are.
I mean, like you said, there's a little, back and forth with the dialogue, like little
nudges.
Little playful nudges here
Yeah.
and there. But you can see that they kind of like each other.
Yeah, they do.
Now, here's the thing with Bowie.
Yes.
Briefly, there was the curse of David Bowie. Whenever he would appear on someone's Christmas special,
They died.
they died.
Yeah, Bing died, but who else did he appear on?
Mark Bolan, who was in T-Rex, and he also eventually became known as T-Rex, Get On, Bang a Gong.
Mm-hmm.
He appeared on his Christmas special. Mark Bolan dies soon after. Appears on Bing's. Bing dies soon after.
Well, I think Bing had been sick for a while because he doesn't look so good in the special.
And in Mark Bolan's, it was his girlfriend drove into a tree. She survived. He didn't.
Oh,
But she said, she did toot the horn, but the tree never got out of the way. No.
Oh my God.
So I think if there was a third Christmas special and that happened, that definitely would have cemented the curse.
Yeah.
But
'cause
hey,
three's the charm.
Yep. Apparently 2 is like, oh, you're almost there.
Nope.
But yeah, I do like this song. And, this is back in the heyday where, like, everyone had a Christmas special. And, correct me if I'm wrong, but you don't kind of see that these days anymore. I mean, it's more of a compilation kind of thing. Like, I don't know, there was that Broadway Cares thing that I sat through part of the other night. Do you consider that a Christmas special?
That's not a Christmas special. That was just a fundraiser for a Broadway Cares Equity Fights AIDS. They didn't sing any Christmas songs.
Now I'm going to be the old fart and say, oh, I remember when, Bing had a special, Bob Hope, Dean Martin, one after another.
They do still have, before COVID happened and things were still fine. Well, not that they were fine, but when things were slightly better, they used to have the tree lighting ceremony at Rockefeller Christmas Plaza. Then they had Derek and his sister Julianne Hough. They would do their own Christmas special. Michael Bublé would do a Christmas special every now and then. And then I think either Dolly Parton or Reba McEntire would have one. But yeah, and then I remember Jennifer Nettles did like a country Christmas special one, but that was only on like cable TV. So yeah, they're still out there, but I don't think they have the same universal mass appeal where everybody sits down and watches it that one night because, people can pick and choose what Christmas specials they do versus don't want to see. And I remember this year they had, Matthew Morrison doing the Grinch musical, but nobody was going to watch that because everyone knew it was going to suck.
Oh, I read something really quick about how, like, his interpretation of the Grinch was
based on the Joker.
Was as either a child molester or a sexual predator.
Yeah,
That's how the Grinch came across.
Well, when Jess and Andrew decided that they were going to review it in a live stream, they were like, okay, this is starting out pretty good. And the sets were actually designed really cleverly because the Who's and the Grinch were the only people in color. The sets were designed with the original black and white style that Dr. Seuss would illustrate his books in.
Yeah.
So that's pretty clever. But then as Jess and Andrew kept watching it, it was just getting worse and worse and worse. And I remember, and shout out to Jess's mom, Mama McAnally. Jess asked her what her cheese rating was for that, and she goes, blue cheese, because they blew it. And that's my favorite cheese rating I ever recorded for their show ever since.
Well, and another side here, the thing about the Grinch is that Chuck Jones 25-minute.
No one will ever beat it.
You can't beat it. So, we had that crappy Ron Howard movie.
The Benedict Cumberbatch one that I didn't see.
Yeah, and again, hey, let's take something that we can do in 20, 25 minutes and stretch it out to an hour and a half. Do we really need the backstory of why the Grinch is the way he is? No, we don't.
I'm going to make a petition to make those movies and specials about the Grinch after the Boris Karloff version, Crimes Against Humanity.
Ooh, I will sign on that.
Yeah, because they're crimes against a population that are widespread and systematic, right? yes, that's a definition of a crime against humanity, so we're going to classify it.
Okay,
all right,
moving
next
on.
Next song, Christmas Time is Here from A Charlie Brown Christmas by the Vince Guaraldi Trio. So this was written for A Charlie Brown Christmas, which was not only the first holiday special based on the Peanuts comics by Charles Schultz, but also, according to Wikipedia, one of the first animated Christmas specials produced for network TV in the United States. The song was written by Peanuts producer Lee Mendelson and Peanuts composer and jazz musician Vince Guaraldi. 2 versions were released when the special aired, a 6-minute instrumental and a 2-minute vocal version sung by choir members of St. Paul's Episcopal Church in San Rafael, California, who previously worked with Guaraldi on his live performance album At Grace Cathedral. Since airing on TV in 1965, Christmas Time Is Here has been covered by Debbie Boone, Mel Torme, Rosemary Clooney, R.E.M.
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 R.E.M.?
Yes, Michael Stipe. Chicago, Kenny Loggins, Johnny Mathis, Diana Krall, and Sarah McLachlan, just to name a few. There was way more on that list.
I have Diana's cover.
How is it?
It's pretty good.
Okay. As for the song, as soon as you hear it, you're just overwhelmed by nostalgia for when you used to celebrate Christmas as a kid. Because as a kid, if you celebrate Christmas, you're surrounded by it 24/7 with songs, specials, toys, commercials, decorations, arts and crafts, stories, and food, and you just never want it to end. And as an adult, you still know that it's the Christmas season, but it doesn't feel the same way because you got stuff to do, like you got to do laundry, empty the dishwasher, maybe go to class or go to work. You've got other things that you have to devote your time to. And yet this song still makes you think of when you were younger and you want to feel that same childlike happiness. And I know this is me looking at the rose-tinted glasses, but hey, it's 2020 and I want some Jingle Bell cheer, god damn it. Yeah, even though it's sung by kids to bring out your inner kid, there's a smidge of sophistication with the jazz arrangement by Vince Guaraldi, but it never feels snobby and it certainly doesn't reek of a pretentious poser like another song. I can't spoil it. Anyway, it strikes a nice balance, and when the final chord plays, I find myself not wanting it to be over and a little bit sad, but still happy and wanting Christmas to come.
Yep. Now, it's impossible not to think of a Charlie Brown Christmas while listening to this song. Having said that, the song really does stand on its own pretty well.
Yeah.
Simple, straightforward lyrics, understated playing, and most of all, a not annoying kids chorus on vocals. Everyone seems to be relaxed. It's not an in-your-face Christmas song, and God knows more of those are needed. And the nice thing is, like, you get the long instrumental version, but it's like as soon as you hear it, the lyrics start going through your head.
Yep.
Which is okay, but it's like very calming.
Yes.
And like I said, I think you need that. Like you said, you're just running around everywhere, and like you come home, you throw this on, and you are just relaxed.
Yep, you are. It's the blissful familiar.
I guess so. I guess so. And it's great. It's just gonna live us all. Like I said, I've got Diana Krall's version, and you know, she's also like a jazz artist, and hers is very understated as well. She has the she has a trio set up, and she does a really nice job with it.
Nice. All right, next song, Santa Claus is Coming to Town, Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band. This version of Santa Claus is Coming to Town was recorded during a concert in 1975 at CW Post College in Brooklyn, New York. It wasn't released until 1982 as part of the Sesame Street compilation album In Harmony 2, and again in 1985 as a B-side to My Hometown from the album Born in the USA.
That's where I first got it.
Yep, this song always plays on the radio every Christmas, and it appeared on Billboard's Hot Singles Recurrence chart each year from 2002 to 2009.
Excuse me, what's that? The Hot Singles what?
Hot Singles Recurrence chart. Recurrence,
Okay.
yeah, recurring songs. Springsteen still plays this song when he does concerts in November or December, and the band always encourages the audience to sing along. The song starts out with Bruce shooting the shit with his band and asking, "Hey, you guys know what time of year it is? What? Oh, Christmas time. Then he teases the band, asking them if they've been practicing really hard. Maybe they'll get into saxophone. And they ask the audience, everyone been good or what? Oh, it's not many. You guys are in trouble. Then they start singing the song, and you can tell Bruce is having fun. The saxophone player goes off, the band goes off, and Bruce starts losing it when they have a guy going, ho, 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 it's Santa. The best touch, though, is that bass voice that sings, better be good for goodness sake.
I think that's Clarence.
Okay, well, thanks, Clarence, because it sounds great live, and there's no tech stuff going on to distort the voice as far as I can tell. I like this version better than any other because this is not one of my favorite Christmas carols. It's not. It's too cutesy, and it's rare that I like covers of it. Like, I really don't like the Jackson 5 version, but this one will always be the best one. It's a version that rocks, and hearing a live recording, and it just has so much more energy than every other cover. All the others seem kind of meh by comparison.
Oh, well, I do like the Crystals cover from the Phil Spector Christmas album, which maybe we'll review next year.
Maybe.
And I love that version, but yeah, for me, this is the definitive version. And it does sound Phil Spector-ish. I mean, Max Weinberg starts off with Hal Blaine, Be My Baby style drums. And then the rest of the band builds that wall of sound. And for me, that's impressive, given that it's a live recording. And I just hope to God there wasn't any post-production work, that it was just, okay, this is what it sounded like at that time, and this is how it's going out.
If you believe in it, it'll be true.
I
It's
hope
the Christmas
so.
spirit.
At CW Post College, which I'm thinking, is that the Post Serial guy? It could be.
Maybe.
Yeah, Bruce's speech at the beginning is hilarious. It's hilarious. Clarence, you've been rehearsing real hard now, so Brandon's seen you new saxophone, right? That's my bad, Bruce. And then telling the audience that they're in trouble because they haven't been good. That's priceless. Like, oh, I can't believe I'm playing for you people.
Yeah.
Bunch of bad kids.
Yeah,
I ought to give you my backhand. Yeah, I really love this version, and it's like you listen to the sound, and there's something about that sound where it's like not really muffled, not really clear, but I wouldn't change it because it almost seems like it's like I said, it has that Phil Spector sound where it's like all the instruments come together almost to make like one noise.
But then at the end they play the little jingle bells on the piano, and it's the perfect finishing touch.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, doon 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 doon. Right before Max comes with his and starts building and building and building. I mean, that's, I hate to keep bringing this guy up, but it's Phil Spector up the yin yang. It really is. And the thing about Phil's songs is even his non-Christmas stuff, you'd swear it was Christmas music.
Yeah.
Because he just went crazy with the bells, like the jingle bells on a lot of his songs, and bells in general, and percussion, which was like a lot of Sonny Bono just standing there with, hey, I'm helping. And goddamn if Sonny didn't learn a thing or two from Phil about production.
Yeah. All right, next song. Happy Christmas, War is Over. John,
Is it?
Is War over?
Is it?
No, it's not. Sorry,
Okay.
Dad. Anyway, John Lennon and Yoko Ono. This song was released by John and Yoko as a single in 1971, his seventh single after the Beatles broke up. The track didn't make the UK charts until 1972 because the UK release was delayed due to conflict over publishing rights. But when it did hit, it hit number 4, then number 2 after John died in 1980, and it made 10th place in ITV's The Nation's Favorite Christmas Songs. There was less success in the US because of the late release date, but it did peak at number 3 on the Billboard Christmas Singles Chart. Now, when this song was written, John and Yoko were doing their anti-war world peace campaign, and John had just released Imagine. He said that writing Imagine taught him to, quote, put your political message across with a little honey, which isn't a bad strategy. The song was based on an earlier campaign John and Yoko did where they took out a huge billboard in Times Square, which you can see if you Google, it's pretty famous, which was a completely white background with the words, war is over, if you want it, Happy Christmas, John and Yoko, to protest the war in Vietnam. So in this song, John wanted themes of unity and peaceful change enacted through personal accountability and empowerment, but he didn't want it to have the same sentimentality as most Christmas songs. When it came time to record, producer Phil Spector came on, and John and Yoko brought in the Harlem Community Choir to sing, which consisted of 30 children ages 4 to 12, so some of those kids are probably still alive.
Well, yeah, I mean, that was only, what, sometime in the 70s?
Yeah, and since the song's release, the song has frequently surged onto the charts, and everyone and their mother has covered it, including Sarah McLachlan, Neil Diamond, Andy Williams, Diana Ross.
Andy Williams?
Yes.
Diana Ross?
Yes.
Andy Williams?
Yes.
Andy Williams.
Yes. Jimmy Buffett, Celine Dion, The Moody Blues, Carly Simon, Darlene Love, Sarah Brightman, yes, Christine Daae herself, Melissa Etheridge, Mavis Staples, Mark Ronson, and Miley Cyrus. Everybody got that? Good. So when the song starts, Yoko and John whisper Happy Christmas to their children, Julian and Kyoko, and it sounds almost like an Easter egg or a miniature bonus track. Then we get into the song, and you can see John sitting on a stool strumming his guitar. You can picture it in your head anyway. The message is simple. Christmas should be celebrated by everyone, so let's end this war, which is over, if you want it. Then Yoko and the kids start singing, and I have to say, having heard Yoko sing before, this is probably her best performance. Like, you can tell it's her singing, but her voice blends well enough with the rest of the kids' singing voices so it doesn't stick out like a sore thumb. And then John sings the rest of the verses, but honestly, the chorus is so damn catchy, I find myself singing along to that most, if not all the time. Then the song ends in a very cute way with everyone going, yay! And the kids shouting,
Yay, we did it!
Happy
We did
Christmas! Yeah. We did it! We solved the war problem! Yay! No. I know John didn't want it to be too sentimental, but you can't have a children's choir in there without everyone going, "Aww." This is another one of his songs that he didn't imagine would be iconic, but hey, I listen to it every Christmas and I enjoy it just as much as I did the previous year.
This is way better than Paul's lousy Christmas song, and this one has Yoko Ono on it, for God's sake. But like you said, she's kind of like almost in the background. Yeah, so she's not as annoying. Now, I gotta say, usually John was a cynic, but not on this one. He definitely had this, could I call it naive optimism about him? Like, we'll sing it away. Nah, it's just not gonna work.
No.
We all want war to be over, but it takes more than just wanting. You've got to do something about it. Because we've been at this for thousands of years.
Yes.
And we just don't seem to be getting any closer.
Yeah, I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but in my international law class, they had the numbers of this is how many wars we've had since like X months of year, and I think it's in the tens of thousands. I wouldn't be surprised, but yeah, the numbers on it are really high. So,
does that include the war on Christmas and the war on drugs? Or those don't count?
Those don't count, Dad.
I think the war on drugs, the drugs won.
No.
Anyway.
We all know the war on drugs was just an excuse for Nixon to arrest black people and hippies, because he said that in a recording. I heard it when I was watching 13th by Ava DuVernay. He said, I want to arrest these people, but I can't. What should we do? Hey, I know! Seriously! I was like, I hate that guy. Anyway.
Hello, Nixon. Mrs. Seinfeld. All right.
Anyway.
Now, this is the thing that got me. Not including the Harlem Community Children's Choir, there are 9 people playing on this song. But thanks to Phil Spector, it just doesn't sound like it. Because he just has this dense production sound. And I gotta say, Phil knew a thing or two about making great Christmas music. And great non-Christmas music.
Yes.
And yeah, I do like this song, but sometimes, I mean, me being the curmudgeon that I am, it's like, oh, John, you're really meaning well. I mean, when you said this came out after Imagine, I just think of that story about Imagine, where like he's in his apartment complaining about, too many pianos in the apartment, and his friend says, hey, imagine no possessions, John. And John looks at him and says, it's just a bloody song. Like, good for you, John.
All right, next song, Carol of the Bells, Pentatonix. I knew I had to include one Pentatonix Christmas song, considering the racket they have with their Christmas albums every year. So after much thought, I selected this one because this was the one song that made me fall in love with Pentatonix, and I knew I'd regret it if I didn't put it on here. So this track is from their first Christmas album, P.T. Xmas, which was released in 2013 and went on to be one of the year's highest-selling Christmas albums at number 6, selling 168,000 copies and streaming everywhere. The music video for Carol of the Bells also has over 164 million views on YouTube. 2013 was a good time to be a Pentatonix fan. Avi hadn't left the group yet, Kirsty still had dark hair and didn't have lip injections yet, and the group hadn't sold out yet. They were still just 5 adults singing a cappella music and having fun.
Okay, that threw me off because I had to go on YouTube and watch the video, and I'm thinking, wait a minute, wasn't there a blonde woman in this group? Was she the one who left? I know someone left and it didn't make Jules happy, so
no,
now you can tell me, so who's this Avi guy who left?
Oh, we're going to get to that. All right, so
thank you.
This is also one of their last good Christmas albums, P.T. Xmas, and along with That's Christmas to Me, which came out in 2014. A Pentatonix Christmas was released in 2016, and that was the one where the reviews were mixed, and it was also the last one Avi sang on. Now, when Pentatonix was originally formed, it was Scott Hoying, Mitch Grossi, and Kirsty Maldonado. All 3 of them were friends in high school.
Oh, just 3 of them?
Just 3 of them. But they wanted to get on the Sing Off, which was an NBC competition for a cappella singers. And in order to do that, you had to have a minimum of 5 people. So they posted online saying that they needed, that they wanted 2 more singers. That's how they found Avi. And that's how they found Avi Kaplan. And that's how they found their beatboxer, Kevin, oh God, I forget his last name. Asula, his nickname is KO. So that's how they found them. They went on to win The Voice and became hugely successful. But then as they went on, like the quality of their songs started to dip. Like I had the snippets since Avi left. I haven't listened to any of the new albums in full. The snippets I've heard of their new Christmas stuff just reeks of commercial Christmas. And I could tell things were starting to go south a little bit because Pentatonix had a documentary that came out about them. And Avi was like really sad. And he was like, the one thing I really miss is being with my family or my friends. And he would constantly bring that up in interviews. And because they were going on tour constantly, because for the long time before like they became really famous and took off, touring was like the only way they were making money. And then in a video announcement, Avi decided that he was leaving to focus on his own solo career, and they got a new bass singer, Matt, whom I'm sure is wonderful, but just like certain fans of AC/DC stopped listening when Bon Scott died because the band died too, I followed the same principle. If only we could go back, but alas we can't.
So how's Avi's solo career going?
Not as big as theirs, unfortunately. But he seems to be doing happier, which is good. So anyway, for this song, the video starts out with the voices entering in one by one. First Avi, then Mitch, then Kevin, then Scott, then Kirsty. I like how with certain snippets, their voices sound like a church choir, but then they add in their own little touches like Avi's bass voice. Kevin's beatboxing is also perfect because 1 minute he can make his voice sound like the swirling wind and snow, and then the next he sounds like the percussive drums of the Trans-Siberian Orchestra. Then with the bridge, we also have the voices entering one by one, but playing off each other really well, especially when Mitch and Kirsty's harmonies overlap. And I think the reason I love this version so much is that you can go back and re-listen and pick apart all the layers and focus on one voice throughout the rest of the song. That's really hard to do with most instrumentals or even most vocal arrangements, but you can really do that here. And if you watch the music video, they're outside and there's no flash, but the camera just focuses on their faces and their bodies because that's all you need. Sometimes their music videos do have some flash and fun, but you don't really need it for this one because all the flash is coming through voices and it's just great. There's a reason people watch this video even when it's not Christmas. It's just really good music.
Now, for me,
Yeah.
the Robert Shaw Chorale does the definitive version. It's from 1946, and for me, it has just never been topped. And it's only like about 2 minutes and change, but it's just absolutely like haunting in a good way, like Christmas Carol, Ghost of Christmas Present.
Okay.
There's just something about it with the voices. It's just I wish I could explain it, but just you have to hear it. And I think it's on your mom's Time Life Treasury of Christmas Classics. Now, I had to look up the Pentatonix version on YouTube, and the thing that boggled my mind was something that you already said, that it's been viewed over 164 million times. And seeing that number just jammed my brain. Because I'm thinking that's more than half of the population of the United States.
Yeah.
I was just dumbfounded. And I thought, okay, I guess there's something to this. And I'm watching it and I thought, okay, I'm missing the point of this. Can 164 million people be wrong?
No.
Maybe. Okay, now I have a question for you.
Yes.
Now, maybe this is just me. So there's 5 of them in the video.
Yes.
But to me, why does the song sound like there's more than 5? Are they that good? Or is there some studio trickery afoot? I mean, for me, it's like an okay version, I guess. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't grab me either. It's like so many eggs on a plate. They're just there. So help me out. Did they tweak it in the studio, or is it really just the 5 of them? Because if it's just 5 of them, then I'm impressed.
It's really just the 5 of them. Like, occasionally they'll bring out choirs for, like, backup singers, like what they did with O Come All Ye Faithful and their Pentatonix Christmas album. But no, that's all 5 of them. I think all that they do in the studio is they just turn up their voices to the max. I think that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all 5 of them.
So now they're just milking Christmas for all it's worth, because they've got like 4 Christmas albums out now or something?
4 or 5, yeah. I listened to, like, the last tracks that I heard was like the beginning of, they did a cover of Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree, and it sounded so fake and plastic. And then they did the 12 Days of Christmas, and I'm like, oh, this could be fun. And then I listened to it, and I was like, oh. It's like they're not experimenting anymore to push the envelope like they used to do on their other albums.
But they have those out there who'll just blindly follow them. Hey, it's another Christmas album by them. Oh, I'm going to buy it. This is great.
Yep.
Kind of like you said, Trans-Siberian's just always going to put out Christmas stuff. Mannheim Steamroller, it's just going to be Christmas albums.
Yeah.
And you think that's what these guys are just going to do? It's just always going to be Christmas albums and nothing else?
Well, they do other stuff. They do, like, covers every year. They'll write original material every year, but their Christmas stuff is what they're known for. Them and Michael Bublé have the marking on it. But yeah, the only reason I bought their last album anyway was because they did White Christmas with the Manhattan Transfer. And I was like, oh my god, I love the Manhattan Transfer, and I wanted to listen to that collaboration, and it was great. But other than that,
So you've got 9 voices going at it then.
that time, yeah, but that was because they were like featuring the Manhattan Transfer.
So it was just for one song, not the whole album?
No, it was just for one song.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Well,
Thank you for listening to this. We're going to sign off. Wait.
Okay, we know some of you listeners out there, most of you have been good, but probably some of you have been bad. So now we have for you 2 lumps of coal.
Yep.
That's right. We each picked a lump of coal, a.k.a. the worst Christmas song that ever existed.
Ever. All right, let's start with Dad's, because, oh boy, did
I pick a good, bad one?
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, now for me, at first it was going to be Paul McCartney's Wonderful Christmas Time, but I remembered that I have something even worse than that is actually in my collection through no fault of my own.
Yep.
But I got to say, Jules, the one thing that you did that makes me tolerate Paul's version now.
Yes, is my theory.
I want you to share this with our audience out there.
So this theory isn't mine. This theory is from Tumblr. So the lyrics to Wonderful Christmas Time start out with, "The moon is right, the spirit's up, we're here tonight and that's enough, simply having a wonderful Christmas time." Someone on Tumblr has a theory that this song is just a bunch of witches in a coven gathered together, ready to cast a spell or perform a sacrifice, and they get caught and they have to cover their asses, so they start saying Wonderful Christmas Time. Like, think about it. The moon is right, the spirit's up, we're here tonight, and that's enough. Someone walks in on them and they go, "Oh, simply having a wonderful Christmas time." Phew.
No, we weren't saying Satan, we were saying Santa.
Yeah, sure.
So that makes me tolerate it. I mean, I do not go out and actively seek this song, believe me. But at work, oh my God, there's this version that this woman does, which is pretty bad.
Well, I remember when I was in high school, when we would sing at the State House every year, the Martin Choir would always go on before us, and Mr. Rappa created his own arrangement for the school kids to sing.
Really?
Yeah, and it's really good, because he showcased their voices. He put it in a different key, and he has the guys sing the verses, the girls sing the chorus, and it sounds really good. But
this is not the song that we're here to talk about.
No, it's not.
Now, thanks to your Uncle Michael.
Oh, thanks, Uncle Michael.
Way back in 1993, bought me a 2-disc British import Christmas compilation called The Best Christmas Ever. Now, disc 1 has contemporary songs, and there are some artists who I guess were big at the time when that came out. There's like this duo called Mel and Kim, and I mean, it starts off with Band-Aid doing Do They Know It's Christmas, and this one's pretty good.
I almost put that song on there, but I'm not objecting to. I wasn't going to be objecting to the song. I was going to be objecting to how the money went to all the wrong people with that song, and how it perpetuated myths about the African continent that are inaccurate.
And Bono has that deathless line about, "Thank God, they're there tonight instead of you." It's like,
People who are. I remember watching that documentary, Poverty Inc. for Class. The international community, the actual people who are doing like the good work, they want to kill Bono. They really want to kill Bono.
Don't we all?
Yeah, maybe. Well,
Okay.
the Broadway fans want to kill him for Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark, but that's a whole other can of worms. Anyway, yeah.
Now, disc 2 has older, more traditional tunes, like they got Bing doing White Christmas and so on. However, on this second disc, track number 10 lurks. And it is from 1962, and it is Blue Christmas by Miles Davis.
And it's not the Elvis one, "I'll Have a Blue Christmas Without You." No.
How bad is this song?
Oh.
It is so bad that even Miles himself hated it. Check out his autobiography for his reaction. And I gotta say, if you ever get a chance, read Miles's autobiography. I highly recommend it. It is a fun read. There's a certain 12-letter word that he uses a lot, and I must say, if they took out that 12-letter word, the biography would be half the length that it is.
Really?
It is.
Okay.
That autobiography, it is a hoot. It is his voice. I like to think that he didn't have a ghostwriter, that it is completely unfiltered, and he just says whatever he's going to say. Read it.
But anyway, we're not here to talk about the book. We're here to talk about this.
No. And in his reaction, I think I remember 12 other cuss words being used. Now, this song is also so bad that this is only the second time I have listened to this since 1993. So there was a 27-year gap from the first time to the second time.
Nice 27 years, huh?
I did it for you, the listeners.
You better appreciate this, goddammit.
Because after this second time,
he will never listen to it again.
Never on purpose will listen to this again.
Yep.
Okay, so background. So back in 1962, Columbia Records decided to put out a record called Jingle Bell Jazz, featuring their prominent jazz artists.
That doesn't sound bad.
Like Dave Brubeck and Miles and so on. Now, no one was more prominent than Miles Davis. Now, as how he wound up on this, it was either contractual obligation or he needed the money. So that's what that's what a drug habit can do to you kids.
Maybe both. Maybe both contractual
Learn
obligation
from Miles's mistake.
Yep.
Now, Bob Dorough wrote the lyrics to this. Now, as to how Miles knew Bob Dorough, he of Schoolhouse Rock fame.
I knew that voice sounded familiar.
Yes.
Son of a nutcracker.
Oh, I like that. Yes,
I got that from Buddy the Elf.
Because it didn't hit me the first time until I did the research, and I thought, oh my God, it's the Schoolhouse Rock guy. Now, check out the article, Christmas's Greatest Anti-Carol, on counterpunch.org. Now, Bob and Miles seem to have had a love-hate relationship. Bob loved Miles, and Miles, he probably tolerated Bob Dorough as best he could. There were a few incidents of Miles clowning Dorough, though, and again, check out the article, because it was like Miles would just abuse this guy, and Dorough would just come back for more.
God, oh.
Yeah, it was just like this abusive relationship, because he thought, this is Miles, he can do no right.
I can change him.
It must be me, it's never him.
No.
So Miles must have figured, this motherfucker's gut is known so far up my ass, I can do whatever I want and he'll still love me. And Miles was right. He was so right.
God, so the song just fosters an abusive relationship as well as being bad.
So Miles calls him up and says he needs lyrics for a Christmas song. And the first thing I thought was, why, Miles, why? You could have just come up with an instrumental, call it Blue Christmas.
And we would have listened to it.
And we would have been done with it.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, this is a guy who would do like a 10-minute version of My Funny Valentine or Someday My Prince Will Come. He could have picked a Christmas standard of some sort that he could have tolerated.
Yeah.
And just gone off on it for 15 minutes and we all would have been happy.
But no, we have to live in this universe.
Now, Dorough knew that Miles was not full of eggnog and gingerbread and all-around good Christmas cheer. Which, if he was, then that would have been the Miles from another dimension, the Bizarro Miles.
Yeah.
So he decided to go with a Bah Humbug route, which is fine.
Yeah.
Which is fine. There are good cynical Christmas songs out there, like Father Christmas, for one. And even I Believe in Father Christmas by Greg Lake. Listen to the words. You think there's one thing going on, but if you listen or read to the words, you realize, oh, okay, I get it. I mean, even the song the Postman sings in All of the Other Reindeer, Christmas, bugging home.
Yeah.
And so I'm fine with that. But for me, as soon as Bob Dorough opens his mouth, out comes a smarmy, hipper than now, too cool for the room,
Go off, Dad.
NPR, Jazzbo, beatnik bullshit, condescending tone of voice. And he rolls it all into one. And it's that delivery that goes through me like a hot chocolate enema. And it makes me want to stab my ears with holly, like the pointy holly. That, like, when I trim the holly bush out in the front, it just, like, scratches my arms and, like, hurts my fingers. But I would have no problem jamming that holly into my ears.
Just to never listen to this again.
I hate this song. I absolutely hate it. And I hope I never, ever, ever have to hear it again. Ever. The only thing that could have saved this song would have been the sound of Miles beating Dorothy's face to a bloody pulp of Christmas pudding with Miles's own trumpet, just like, hold still, damn it, oh, wait, I'm not done, I'm not. And after it was over, Doro would have looked at him and said, Thank you, Miles.
May I
love
have
you.
another?
Yes, he would have. He would have.
Oh, God.
Oh my God, this is the worst piece of Christmas reindeer shit out there. And I hope you listeners out there are not tempted to listen to this.
Please don't. We really don't
don't.
want you to listen to this. No. Oh, God. Okay, so here's my take on it. These lyrics are a pile of decomposed ass, and the whole song is just a slow jam dumpster fire. I want to throttle the lead singer, even though he's responsible for some of my childhood with grammar rock and government rock and multiplication rock. I'm gonna shoot the. All right.
Well, he's not living anymore.
No, but I would dig up his corpse and bring him back to life and throttle him. This is for the stupid song. Like, I'd be like Ralphie in A Christmas Story when he beats up Scott Farkas. You darn. Didn't you hear what she said? All right. This feels like if a jazz musician at Juilliard got high one night and decided to write a Christmas song that turned out to not be a stroke of genius. It feels like they're trying to make a social commentary about how can you be happy at Christmas when there's so much suffering in the world, which is fine, but the format they present it in is just awful. And the singer has one of the most annoying voices in this I've ever heard in my life.
Yes.
You just can't take him seriously and you find yourself laughing at him. If he performed this at a bar, I guarantee you beer bottles would have been thrown at his head. He is the cancerous mass that kills this song. Yes, I said that. I don't care. Because if you take out his voice in the garbage lyrics, the instrumentals underneath it sound pleasant. And when they give Miles his jazz solo, it's like finding water in the desert. But when the singer comes back, you realize you've just been drinking sand this whole time and you're going to choke to death. I hope the singer and the people who transpired this whole thing never worked in the music industry again. So, we're being serious when we say, do yourself a favor and do not listen to this song this season. We've covered a lot of bad stuff on this show, okay? But even then, it's like we're divided on it. Dad thinks you should listen to it. I think you should listen to us. We both say, do not listen to this song this Christmas season. Seriously, don't. We know you may be tempted to look this up and find out if it's as bad as we're making it out to be, but please don't, because you won't get those precious moments of your life back.
Yes, because on the other hand, we all know curiosity killed the cat.
But this
and
one,
if you pursue this, it will kill something inside you.
Yes.
It really will.
So please don't. We mean it when we say, do not listen to this song. Nope, you're getting ready to do it. I can see you're ready. I can see you typing it in. Nope. X out of that browser right now. Did you do it? All right, good. Don't listen to it.
Okay, Joyce, now for your lump.
My lump of coal, which is kind of tame in comparison, but it's still my lump of coal. I want a hippopotamus for Christmas.
Only a hippopotamus will do.
Look, by Gayla Peavy. For the record, I almost picked Dominic the Christmas Donkey, but this one is way more annoying. This song was released by Columbia Records in 1953, peaking at number 24 on the Billboard Pop chart. A local promoter heard the song and actually presented Peavy with a hippo for Christmas, which she donated to the Oklahoma City Zoo, and the hippo went on to live on for another 50 years. So, good for the hippo. So, YouTube comments summed up Peavy's voice very well. She sounds like she's 60 years old and 10 years old at the same time.
I can definitely see that.
Yep. I never liked her voice as a kid because I thought it was so annoying, and now I don't find it as annoying, but it's still not my favorite sound in the world. As for the music, it's the hokiness of Dominic the Donkey turned up to an 11 with the pa. And the rhymes are so grammatically incorrect. The plural of hippopotamus is hippopotami, not hippopotamuses. I get they were trying to make it rhyme with Christmas, but it just drives me nuts. And if you listen very carefully, you can hear Peavy stumble over some of the syllables in the song. Makes you wonder why they didn't do another take. As far as Christmas songs go, this is so not me, and I left a dislike on it when I watched it on YouTube just so I could bestow my lump of coal. I think that's the only reason I would click on Blue Christmas by Miles Davis is just to dislike the video. I would pause the video so I wouldn't have to hear it, dislike it, and then go back to the main page. That's it.
Very smart.
Yes.
Now, the first time I heard this...
So please do that. Flood that video with dislikes, but don't listen to it. Dislike it, but don't listen to it. Okay?
I wish you could see Juliet at the moment because she is just gesturing wildly with her arms everywhere.
We're seriously begging you not to listen to any of these.
Okay, back to Gayla.
Yeah.
Okay, now the first time I heard this song was on WHJY ages ago. Now, each year Paul and Al would have a worst Christmas song contest, and each year this song won hands down.
Yep.
Dominic the Christmas Donkey would come close a lot, but it was hippos over donkeys every time.
And Dominic the Donkey has a little bit of a charm to it. Like, the more you hear it, you kind of get used to it. But this one I just never got used to.
Okay. Now, let's face it, this is a novelty song, so you really can't take it seriously. Now, having said that, let's take a look at the logistics of keeping a hippo in the house. Gayla tells us there's lots of room for him in our two-car garage. I'd feed him there and wash him there and give him his massage. Now, okay, fine. But hippos eat a lot.
They eat animals. They're not vegetarians.
No, they're not. For years, people thought that they were. And I think it was, oh, shoot, I don't know, it was 1985 and 1995. I went on, I think it was National Geographic when I was researching hippos. Yeah, this guy found them eating a carcass of one of their own. So they do have cannibalistic tendencies. And it was determined that they will only turn carnivore if they're getting nutrients that their bodies need. But anyway, normally they eat up to 90 pounds of grass a day. So that's more than a quarter of a ton a week. And that's a hell of a bill right there. Plus, hippo shit. Who's gonna clean up that mess, Gayla? I'm assuming it's not gonna be you. It's probably gonna be mom or dad. And the thing is, where are you gonna put it? And washing him, you know, you're gonna flood the garage unless you got the doors open, and you're gonna give him his massage. That's just kind of wrong.
You're too small for that anyway.
Yeah, you're gonna need a ladder, and then you're gonna fall off, and then you're gonna break your arm, and you're off to the hospital. So you're not, no hippo for you.
Nope.
Now, hearing this song once a decade works for me, and also hearing it never again also works.
Yeah.
Because, again, I sat through the whole thing just to figure, am I missing out on something?
No.
No, I'm not.
No.
I mean, it's a novelty song, but I really don't need to hear it again.
No, we do not. And on that note, thank you for making it this far. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of My Dad Listens to This. Like, subscribe, tap the bell, and all that jazz. Let us know some comments. What are your favorite Christmas songs? And what are your least favorite Christmas songs? Let us know in the comments. Maybe we'll listen to them. Maybe we won't listen to the bad ones because life is short, but let us know.
Or maybe we'll disagree with your bad ones.
Yeah, maybe we'll secretly end up liking them. But hey, let us know what they are anyway. If you follow me on any of my social medias, I post the episodes there. Or if you're friends with my dad, he can send the episodes right to your door. And thank you for listening to another episode of My Dad Listens to This. And happy Christmas! The episode is over, if you want it.
I think most people do at this point. So thanks for listening. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
We'll
Happy
be back.
Hanukkah, or whatever holidays you celebrate this holiday season.
Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, Christmas, Festivus. Can't forget the Festivus worshippers out there.
Nope. And if we forget any, sorry.
And we'll be back at some point.
Yep.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Happy holidays, everybody.